Spears and Ali back here on ESPN Tucson, 1490 AM, and the Spears and Ali podcast. And Agent Zero joining the show, Gilbert Arenas, former Arizona Wildcat, who will be also the host of the Red Blue game after party. And correct me if I'm wrong, Gilbert, but are you emceeing the whole Red Blue game too?
I'll be landing soon as the game is starting, so I'm gonna be showing up a little bit late.
Okay.
Unless we
But
catch a tailwind and I'm there early.
but coming back to Tucson, Arizona, I'm sure is very special for you. How excited are you for this upcoming event?
Very excited. I haven't been there in so long. I think last time was around the Lute Olson days when we were having the games every 2 years. So I
Okay.
think I think when I came back, it was either 2007 or eight.
Okay.
When was the last time I came back?
Okay. And what do you think about the direction of the program and Arizona basketball and how it stands right now?
I think it's going in a great direction right now. Getting back to where we used to be. I know you guys got Carter Bryant. He's one of the kids from the LA area, very athletic. I mean, he's one of the kids that can be very special. If he can get to that next level. You guys recruited my son, so that could be great too. But it always, college always has down years where talent decides to go elsewhere, and now that it's finding its way back to Arizona is very great.
You're coming back to Tucson, Arizona. It ain't obviously it's not your first time coming to Tucson, but what do you remember about the first time that you came to Tucson and you experienced the University of Arizona campus and the culture here in Tucson?
What's funny is someone DM'd me and said, "Yo, I remember you said you never went to class and you kept going to the rec center." Yeah, you dunked on me on the rec center all the time, and it was funny because I spent majority of my time getting in shape at the rec center because all the kids that would play for hours. It was a very basketball town, right? Tucson loved their basketball. I used to tell people, man, we was more famous than the Suns when I was there. They didn't really have a great pro team, and we were the pro team. So, you know, um, everyone treated us like that.
Heck yeah. And I remember last time I talked to you in Las Vegas, I think at NBA Summer League when you guys were hosting your podcast out there.
Mhm.
They got Mandalay Bay, but you talked about how you would sell your U of A gear or
Oh,
trade it for stuff.
that's
What
that's
exact?
like that was like Michael Jordan autographs back then, right?
Wow.
So yeah, like back then, having a signed autograph ball by the team, having team issued shoes like the kids at Foot Locker, they'd give you anything for the team shoes, right?
Yeah.
So it was very popular items, and when we wanted like something that was newer. We'll just trade a ball, we'll trade a ball or our shoes for a pair of shoes that we actually liked.
Be honest, Gil. Did you forge any autographs?
Of course. Yeah, of
Because I
course.
remember Richard Jefferson was talking about how he went like through the airport and he saw an autograph ball and he's like, "That's not my signature."
Yeah, no, yeah, we had to do a lot of forging because there were some balls that were missing a few. And someone like Richard, right? He wouldn't sign like his real signature once he got tired. So he probably don't recognize RJ
Yeah.
4. It's RJ 44. Yeah, bro, that was you when you got tired. That was you. That's you.
When you think about your time playing at Arizona, how much did that time in Tucson help you get ready for the rest of your life, or did it at all?
You know, from the basketball standpoint, you know, understanding Lute Olson was a pros coach. I didn't understand that until I was in the pros and got the mannerisms. Like so, we would label him as a players coach who really understood the players. He knew he wasn't bigger than the system itself, so he created a system that's always evolving around players. right? No matter if he doesn't have guards and he has all big men, he has a system that's pro towards big men to help them to the next level. And that's what he did for guards and always gave us the confidence. So when I got to the league, I felt I already got coached by the best. So I understand what you're saying. I can adapt. And I thought going with him for 2 years really helped me adapt to the NBA a lot faster.
Mm. And he was the kind of coach, like you said, a player's coach, but was very strict, had his rules, but he also didn't get in the way of you guys. Is that fair to say?
There, listen. Think about my personality and Richard and Luke. Right? We are probably the three that he had. Like it was like Jesus Christ. um, and we pushed it to the limits. But with him is like I'll miss class, but he didn't really make it an issue because I was in the gym. Right.
Right.
It's not like I was missing class and I was just out somewhere partying. If I wasn't in class, I was in the gym working on my craft, getting in shape, running. Like, so it was really hard to punish a player like me because the things that he will use to punish me, I was doing it for recreation.
Yeah.
Right. So, like, oh, you're going to get online and do 5 miles. I woke up at 6 a.m. to do that. When I'm not in class, I'm doing that. Right. I looked at stuff like that from my high school coach as the more you run, the better you're in shape. The better you're in shape, the longer you can last. The longer you last, you can put up your numbers and all that stuff. So that's how I was really taught how to think. So I didn't look at like line drills and running the miles and waking up early as punishment. So with Lute, he was like, well, he's up there punishing himself. So
I was
it,
gonna say, how did Lute Olson reprimand you if he needed to?
it was one of the things he was like, yeah, like, did I ever get punished? No. I remember Richard Jefferson like, man, if I did that, oh my God, I would have had like got suspended 2, 3 games. And it's like, well, Richard, you were never the best player on the team, so it really don't matter.
So, did you put a koi fish on someone's doorstep, or what happened there?
Okay. I think we were in Palo Alto, maybe, and I don't know. We were just in joke mode. It was Eugene Eggerson and Lauren Woods. And me and Eugene we were just bickering the whole time. Right. It was just he's the guy I'm gonna pick on since he's the strongest on the team. Um, and I don't even know what made me do it, but we're walking past a koi fish, and Richard's like, I bet you want to grab one. Yeah, right. Grabbed my shirt, grabbed it, put it outside. Their door, Lauren Woods and Eugene Eggerson's door, knocked on it, and they just see this koi fish just flapping. So they had to hurry up and grab it and go put it back in the water.
That's so funny. Uh,
Yeah,
were
you
you?
can't do that now. Don't do that now.
No, no,
Yeah,
definitely not.
yeah.
So you guys were always looking to kind of prank each other.
We're college kids. It's all we have is each other, right? To the point where like normal high school fun, college fun, we can't have. So for the most part, usually traveling on the road or in the dorms is where we pull off a lot of our pranks.
Okay. But even though, while some people didn't agree with the pranks like Eugene and
Yeah.
Lauren Woods, you guys had a certain camaraderie and a certain chemistry that allowed you guys to have a very successful season in 2001. What can you say about that year and what that collective group of guys was able to bring as a unit?
Yeah, it started off with Lauren Woods. So Lauren Woods was projected top five. So he was projected top five in the 99 2000 draft. Um, and I think he hurt his back at the end of the year. And he basically told us, I'm going to stay back one more year so we can try to win a championship. So when he did that move, we were all locked in to we're going to go and go for the chip. So for the most part, training, working out, eating, we was locked in into getting to that championship and winning it. So any bickering that happened during the season, there was no emotions involved, right? So the pranks, we had a group that didn't take anything personal,
Yeah.
right? Like as much as I toyed or messed with Eugene Egerson, it's not like he was gonna choke me to death or really like punch me, to the point where I'm injured, right? He had just hit me here and there on a court to let me know he's here. But for the most part, the biggest guy was never trying to hurt anybody. So for the most part, we were just out there just hooping for each other.
What was your favorite memory playing for the Wildcats?
Um, to be honest, you know, coming in as a projected redshirt, um, and being called the MVP of the NIT my freshman year was like unreal, right? In a two month span, I guess was it two, yeah, it was about 2 month span from when the was it New York NIT.
Yeah.
I'm going from possibly being a red shirt to starting in the MVP, right? And then hearing Dick Vitale say Diaper Dandy, oh, one of the Diaper Dandies won. And I was like, oh my God, he said my name, and from there, just the experience of just training with the guys on another level was just insane. And I remember we had a kid by the name of Mike Shortley
Mm.
on the team, and he was a walk-on, and he pushed me the most in sprints and mile runs, right? He had this thing is he was like, yo, I'm gonna be first in sprints, like, well, no, that's my title, right? And he came in second every single time. But the fact that someone forced me to always run hard,
Yeah.
and it was him, and I've never thanked him for that. Like, I don't know if he even realized what he was doing. Like I want to be first and you want to be first and you're going to keep pushing me trying to get that so you can feel, and I'm like, I'm not going to. So we have this battle that was going on for 2 years, and the days where I didn't want to run and I'm sore, I knew somebody was trying to get that spot,
Mhm.
and it was him. Right? So you know having that kind of mindset, having a guy like him pushing me in college, it let me kind of know, like, if I ever did get to that next level, what did it be like? Somebody's going to be trying to get to a spot, or I'm going to be that guy trying to get to that spot. And when I get it, there's going to be somebody like me coming along trying to get it. So always be prepared.
And then you went on and had a very successful NBA career. And in the 2007, 2008 range, you were put on the cover of NBA Live '08. I've always been wanted to ask you about this. I think you might be the only Wildcat on a video game cover, if I'm not mistaken.
Of course, I was the sexiest Wildcat that ever lived. Right? Why would they want to put some of those ugly mugs on the cover? That is just sales would drop. Like
How, so was it? Were you on all the covers? Because I had a PSP, and I remember I got the
yeah,
video game, and
yeah. So I
you.
was on. So the funny story, I had got both covered. So I was 2K. So I had the choice between 2K and NBA Live. So I
Okay,
got both offers at the same time, and 2K was the better game, or it was the emerging game
yeah,
of. But NBA Live had the NBA Live fan base,
yeah.
so I went with NBA Live.
Because man, you were like one of the last NBA Live games that I
Yeah.
got, and like you said, 2K was up and coming, and then it
Mhm.
went into like the Kobe 2K, Michael Jordan. Then from that point on, 2K just completely took off.
Yep.
But I'm wondering, take us through just the process of going on a video game cover. Like, how do they present you that idea? What did that mean to you?
Like it was. It, it was it's what I mean. It was a proud moment in my career. One, I'm injured, right, rehabbing, and where there's no good news when you're rehabbing. You get this, hey, we have the cover of 2K. 2K wants to put you on the cover of next year's video game. Like, you're like, Like, I didn't even play last year. What are you talking about? Right now, like, no, they really want you as the cover boy for it. So I'm excited. And then within 48 hours, NBA Live, we want you on the cover, right? So, picking which one was exciting, telling my friends, yo, I'm gonna be on next year's video game. You better cop it, right? And growing up, we always dream of making it to the NBA, having our own shoe, and being on a cover of the video game and the Wheaties box. So I never got the Wheaties box, but
Mm.
being on a video game where your friends are going to be playing it, all your fans are going to be playing, and one day your children, might see the cover and play it. Um, was really a blessing, right? I got to put that up there as one of those top 5 moments of my career.
And you're coming back to Tucson, Arizona, where you'll mingle with a bunch of former Arizona Wildcats, and looking at the NBA broadcasting stuff, life outside of basketball. What do you think just about the success that so many of you guys have beyond Arizona?
Um, we're personalities, right? When you talk about broadcast, when you talk about TV, you're talking about podcasting. It's personalities, right? And Arizona have some of the best personalities that ever walked through the NBA.
Hmm.
So me and Richard, even though we're on 2 different platforms, we still keep in touch. He had come through, like he's been on my show, came to the studio. I've been on the jump when he had to jump with him and Rachel Nichols, right? So we always support each other, and the way the landscape is moving is becoming, I don't want to say wild wild west again, but it's heading that way because the player podcast is
Yeah.
is becoming stronger, and it's taking away traditional media. um and there's going to be a little tug and war with that industry, but I've been in it since 2008, so I'm in the forefront of players having a voice. But I still understand that, somebody like a Skip Bayless or Stephen A. Smith and all these guys being around for 20 years wasn't easy. So I still study the habits that they have, what made them great, what makes them stick, what makes them hated and loved. So my field has new school and old school. So I just
Hmm.
like play very, very great in the middle in a gray area where I can say something where I know people are not gonna they're not gonna listen fully to what I'm saying, and they're gonna be in an uproar, and I get to still be right.
Yeah.
Right. So I right,
I see.
right. Like, so I did something like, the Jokic take, right? And everybody's, oh, his take's horrible. And I said, Jokic is the worst 3-time MVP in the last 40 years. All everyone heard was Jokic and the word worse. They didn't try to understand that I said
Mm.
3-time MVP in the last 40 years. I said 40 years for a reason. If I said 50, that's Moses Malone. Anybody can say, he's better than Moses Malone.
Yeah.
So I use 40, which only includes MJ, Magic, Bird, LeBron, and Jokic. Right now in his career, he's 5th.
Yeah.
So he's the worst one. Right?
No point. It's fair.
Right. So
Uproar, and you were right.
so it's one of those things where I know how to play with the words for that spark in the media public
Mm.
space.
Well, and sometimes your words, like you said, could cause an uproar. And here in Tucson, Arizona, a lot of people were like, "Man, you hear what Gilbert said about Tommy Lloyd when they were thinking about hiring him?" That was, of
Uh-huh.
course, several years back. How has your relationship grown with Tommy since that moment?
Okay, listen. I had to be the voice of the chat, right? So we have so we have the Arizona group chat, right? So Damon Stoudemire, all the coaches, all the ex players are in there. So they had an uproar. It was a real uproar of one of the ex Arizona players not getting a job. So everyone was really feeling some type of way. So I just decided to say what they were feeling. Yeah, no one's gonna care, and they did. I was like, oh wow. But he's done a great job, right? I always look at it like this: the person who gets the job deserved it.
Yeah.
right? And that's just the way it is, right? You ask for a raise, either your boss is going to say yes or he's going to say no. If he says yes, you deserved it, no matter what anyone else thinks. And Tommy was the perfect guy for the job, and he's shown that. So no matter how angry or disappointed everyone was at that time, Arizona was right on who they went after.
And now this staff is recruiting your son.
Yeah.
How cool / weird is it to see your son go through the recruitment process? I know it's a little bit different than when you were being recruited, but still, I'm sure you have been a guiding voice during this time for him. And I'm sure it's really nice for you to see the Wildcats going after Alijah.
What's so funny is I steer him nowhere just to
Okay.
see, like, he's like, I don't know where he gets, or he wants to play. He's just an Arizona fan, right? And the fact that one of the guys he plays against, Carter, is going there, he really makes him want to go there. And he understands, like, when I teach him, I teach him about who has a pro program, who's running pro sets, who's a great teacher, what does the system look like, and then now that there's NIL deals, I tell them your name is more powerful in Arizona because I went there and I established something. So when you're talking about NIL deals, you already have a pipeline in Arizona for NIL deals, right? And he understands that.
Yeah.
Right. My kids, my daughter's at Louisville, which is Adidas school, and she wears number 0. Right. So, I don't have to tell them, I can just say, it's easier. Right. Sometimes, some of the kids, they want to go against the grain, to make their own name. But sometimes, hey, you don't have to. Your name the last name gives you an advantage, but your first name is what everybody's going to judge you on, right? I can't go out there and play for you. You got to play for yourself. So the fact that my son is even in this type of atmosphere to be recruited says a lot, right? It says a lot about his training because, you know, if he wasn't that good, Arizona wouldn't just be coming after him just because of who his father is,
Yeah.
right? They're looking at his talent and his upside, and the fact that he's about 6'7" now. Um, it makes me smile. You know what I mean? It kind of makes me smile. Like, oh, okay, especially when your son or your daughter gets somewhere. It's like, you guys won't be leeching off me the rest of your life. Yes.
All right, real quick before we let you go, you're hosting the Red Blue Showcase after party at Gentle
uh,
Ben's. Tell us about your production at Gentle Ben's during your time at Arizona.
this
You
is
got
crazy. I never got to go there.
Oh wow.
I was young. 2, Richard never invited me.
Okay.
Right? Like, man, to be honest, I don't like that guy. I just thought about it. Right? It's like they had all the fun, and they never invited me. I was the guy that they just didn't invite nowhere, and then talked about how great it was in a locker room. Right? So I
Yeah.
never got to go to Gentle Ben's and get a drink. So this would be the first time.
Heck yeah. What can people expect when they show up to this party and Gilbert Arenas is hosting it?
I will hope, get drunk, have fun, laugh, and pass out somewhere, and
And
let
celebrate Arizona basketball, man.
celebrate it.
I love it, man. That is former Arizona Wildcat legend Gilbert Arenas joining Spears and Ali here on ESPN Tucson, 1490 AM, and the Spears and Ali podcast. Red Blue Showcase tonight, followed by the after party at Gentle Ben's. I think there's still tickets available. Go to ArizonaPostMoves.com for those tickets. Gilbert, we appreciate you, man. Thank you for joining us.
All right, thank you for having me.